So there has been a lot of controversy surrounding Telltale Games and the production of the long-awaited game The Wolf Among Us 2. It has been 5 years since the announcement of the production of The Wolf Among Us 2, and it has been 2 years since the release of the trailer. But what has gone wrong? Why hasn't the game been released? What is causing these delays? And will we ever be able to play the long-awaited sequel to one of the most compelling games to have been made in the last decade?
In the moments when you find yourself losing control, how does the anger manifest itself?
Receiving many awards and even more praise from the gaming community, The Wolf Among Us, which was released in 2013, was cited as one of the best, if not the best game to be produced by Telltale Games. The sequel was first expected to be released in 2018, but was further delayed to 2019 and subsequently cancelled as Telltale Games encountered financial difficulties during that time and they struggled to stay afloat. Telltale Games released a trailer for The Wolf Among Us 2 in 2022. Which got many fans of the series excited as they thought this meant the production of the game was making good progress. However, more than 2 years later, and we have only received a few screenshots here and there and a few promises that the game is still in production, with no real information about when to expect the release of the game. There has also been some bad news for fans of the series, and this bad news surrounds the recent layoffs that have been happening at Telltale Studios. In late 2023, it is reported that Telltale laid off most of its employees, and Deck 9 Studios, who were working with Telltale in the development of the game, reportedly laid off at least 20% of its employees. And with fewer employees, the wait for The Wolf Among Us 2 may be even longer than we think or even want to believe. And some fans speculate that the game won't even be released in 2024. So here are some of the key things to remember when anticipating the release of The Wolf Among Us 2. Number 1, there are massive layoffs by the developing studios, Telltale Games and Deck 9 Studios, which means that we might see a greater delay in the release of the game. Number 2, Telltale Games promised earlier this year that the game is still in production and is set to be released. They just don't know when. So that's sort of a good thing in the sense that we know that they have not given up on the production of the game, but it's a bad thing in the sense that we don't know when it's going to be released. And number 3, we have received screenshots as recent as April of this year, so that's progress and it's wonderful news for fans and gamers who had lost hope that the game would ever be released. But amidst the speculation and lack of confirmation by the developers, as fans of the series we continue to keep our fingers crossed that we will see Big B Wolf and the rest of the gang very soon. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I will be releasing a video next week explaining in great detail all that has happened with Telltale Games over the past few years and what the future holds for the company. So stay tuned.